Hi, welcome to Main Street Macro. I'm Mila Richardson. And last week's jobs market data pointed to an end of an era, but it could be the beginning of a new one. Let's break it down. You see, leisure and hospitality has been the stalwart of the current labor market. It's really been responsible for dominating the jobs and hiring, pushing job gains, pushing pay growth. But as we saw last week, it's starting to go back to trend growth where it was before the pandemic. And that has three main implications. Implication number one, there's going to be slower hiring. Over the last 2 years, we've seen dramatic increases in monthly job gains. And a lot of those increases was driven by leisure and hospitality. And no wonder. This sector was one that was just 11% of all jobs before the pandemic, but took 40% of the losses. And so for the last 2 years, the sector has really powered through and added back all those jobs that were lost. And what we saw is really big outsized hiring. Well, now that the sector is going back to normal, it's not going to drive the same amount of growth. That means that we have to look to other sectors. Last month, we saw education and healthcare really play that role. Next month, it could be another sector, but we'll have to stay tuned to see which sector rises to the occasion and really drives the labor market forward next year. The second implication we're going to see with a return to normal in leisure and hospitality is slower pay growth. Leisure and hospitality, restaurants, hotels, theme parks. This sector was the only sector that we saw that had double-digit pay growth. And the sector did it for 16 straight months. Well, pay growth is starting to recede, not because these employees aren't valued and not being hired. It's because that there's more of them. More people have gone back to the labor market. And so companies don't have to pay up so much for talent like they did in early parts of the recovery. So going forward, we're not likely to see the kind of outsized pay growth that we saw over 2022 and some parts of 2021. And certainly this year. Now, the final implication of a slower but steady leisure and hospitality sector is slower hiring in terms of small firms. You see, 60% of this sector is composed of establishments with fewer than 50 employees. So as the overall sector slows down, we can expect a slowdown in hiring for these smaller firms as well. That doesn't mean that they're still not the engine of growth in the economy. It's just that they're not going to see the same gains. So you add all these implications together, what you get is a labor market that's coming back to normal. That's good news. But the question we have going into 2024 is what's going to be that new sector that takes the leisure and hospitality's place and moves it forward? The second question that you may all be having is the end of an era of outsized big job gains in the labor market spell the end of an era when it comes to Fed rate hikes? Well, for that question, you'll have to stay tuned. Thanks for watching the Main Street Macro. For more information on the week ahead, please check out adpri.org.